Okay, hello everyone. My name is Sawyer Sawaker. I'm a current first year student in Masters in Sports Leadership here at Wisconsin. And today our speaker is going to be Kevin Schultz. Kevin Schultz serves as the Director of Olympic Strength and Conditioning at the University of Wisconsin, a position that he was elevated to in 2021. In his capacity, he oversees the strength conditioning services for 22 sport programs and 3 strength and conditioning facilities on campus. Schultz leads a team of 7 full-time coaches who provide strength and conditioning related services to over 600 student athletes. Additionally, he serves as the strength conditioning coach for the Big Ten champion women's volleyball team. Prior to assuming leadership of the department, Schultz served as the associate director of Olympic strength and conditioning at Wisconsin from 2015 to 2021. Schultz is currently the chair of the Coaching Advancement Grants and Assistantships Committee for the National Strength Conditioning Associations Foundation, serving as a 3-year term, and is in the process of completing his doctorate of philosophy in sports leadership. Kevin Schultz, everyone.
So we good? All right. So I got 15 minutes here. My gosh, my warm-ups take 30. So hopefully we can get through everything today. Today I'll be sharing thoughts, theories, concepts, structures, systems, which allow us to, see if we can get this going here, leverage technology and foster cross-departmental collaboration within intercollegiate athletics. So a quick 30,000-foot view, really kind of creating context around the concept of collaboration. Really what we're going to try to do is define roles, within collaboration. It's about creating community. It's about optimizing communication, ultimately building empathy along the way. And the idea is to create a shared understanding and a really shared vision of what the goals may be for our organization, and more specifically our athletic department. I think there's this common perception amongst large organizations where specialization really happens of, people working within silos. And, for us, these are kind of a side product of our student athlete support service department. So career and leadership, academics, our sport coaches, sports nutrition, sports psychology, sports medicine, strength conditioning, inclusion and engagement, meditation training, and alumni services. Try to pull this down here, and then community services as well. So this is the common perception that we see amongst a lot of organizations that have high levels of specialization. Ultimately, this may be the reality at a lot of places. There's in-groups, there's out-groups, there's everything in between. Specifically within intercollegiate athletics, we may have the development side of our student athletes experience. So career and leadership, inclusion, engagement, academics, community services, and alumni services. And within a lot of athletic departments, that group works really close together. And then on the right side, we'll have more of the performance side of intercollegiate athletics: sports nutrition, sports medicine, sports psychology, strength coaches, and meditation training, with a lot of information kind of going into the sport coaches. Really what we're trying to do at Wisconsin is really kind of break down the walls and silos and add windows, right? And so if you look at our reality, there's not a ton of lines of communication going because they're just open. We have the ability to kind of cross paths often. As a strength coach, if I want to have a conversation with somebody within academics, I walk upstairs to their office, I look in their window and have a conversation, and that kind of goes both ways. The way we kind of manifest that within our athletic department is we have a specific approach. So going from 30,000-foot view, this is collaboration, dropping it down to our 10,000 view or 2,000-foot perspective. This is kind of what we call our Forward 360 group. This is our holistic wellness program that provides our student athletes the tools, opportunities, resources, and support they need to reach their full potential. If you kind of look within the wheel on the inside, there's all those different qualities that we're trying to address within an athletic department: the social, the emotional, the financial, intellectual, occupational, and physical aspects of our student athletes. Those qualities are more or less met by the different departments that work within our Forward 360 group. So Badgers Give Back, career and leadership, inclusion and engagement, meditation training, mental health and sports psychology, performance nutrition, sports medicine, strength conditioning, the W Club, and academic services. So each one of those 10 departments really kind of meets our student athletes where they're at to help develop those core qualities that we're really looking to address. Ultimately, the boots on the ground, this becomes what we call within athletics the team behind the team. that's like a functional unit of our 4-360 group. So each sport program has a designated support team with representatives from each of the 10 4-360 departments. These staff members work in a collaborative manner with the addition of our sport coaches to more or less help our student athletes excel in sport, in school, and in life. As we start to look through the lens of a strength coach, because that's kind of what my profession is, we start to look at this idea of each sport utilizes technology in varying degrees depending on sport and team culture, whether or not they're receptive to different technologies being present within their training and practices. The time of year and or competitive season. Are they in season? Are they out of season? Are they in their championship season? And then also, just the normal things that all departments and all groups find within organizations is there's logistical barriers, there's budgetary barriers, there's human capital constraints. All those things kind of factor into the utilization of technology. Technology can be subdivided into three main subgroups. We kind of look at it from the lens of human performance, athletic performance, and sport performance. Performance technologies, like I said, human performance are technologies that capture basic human qualities such as sleep, recovery status, general wellness, and general training factors. Then we go down to the athletic performance technologies. These are technologies specifically used within athlete development and rehabilitative domains, such as force plates, isometric functional devices, barbell-based velocity training devices, speed tracking devices, motion capture systems, and DEXA scans. From a sport performance standpoint, these are basically technologies that capture sport-related activities of our student athletes on ice, on court, on field, things such as GPS, heart rates, IMUs and IMAs, and IMUs being inertial measurement units, and then IMAs being inertial movement analyses, so similar concept. From a human performance technology perspective, we primarily use subjective wellness surveys, and then we also tend to look at like these 24-hour wearable technologies. So the vast majority of our student athletes throughout the week will fill out some type of wellness questionnaire. And really these surveys are used to capture general wellness qualities such as mood, energy level, muscle readiness, diet, academic pressures, general health indicators. And as you can kind of see, a lot of those qualities kind of center around the student athlete's experience within our 4-360 group. These surveys also give us the ability to really capture self-reported specific daily academic stressors and feeding patterns. So we have the ability for our student athletes to report, are they taking exams and tests, quizzes, papers, presentations, maybe they're sitting in a 4-hour lab. All that information is really important for us as we start to build out their day from a performance standpoint and just a daily standpoint. We also have the ability to ask the question like, are you guys eating breakfast, lunch, dinner? Are you eating something before and after workouts? Are you grabbing something before you go to bed? The next questionnaire that a lot of our student athletes will answer throughout the week is subjective training questionnaires. And these are surveys used to capture daily physical and mental training activities, things such as practices, competitions, strength training, conditioning, fitness, what recovery modalities they're doing and for how long, rehabilitation that they may be doing with sports medicine, meditation if they're doing mindfulness, and then also if they're watching film from a sport perspective. When we're looking at those things, what we're really looking to do is for a majority of the physically related ones is look at session RPE being rate of perceived exertion, and the duration of the activities. And that kind of helps us develop what's called like a training load. The next part of that is we use like 24-hour wearable technologies. Those are things like Apple Watches, Fitbits, Oura Rings, Whoop Bands, etc. And really trying to quantify within reason qualities such as sleep duration, sleep quality, resting heart rate variability, and nocturnal body temperatures. Here's an example of some of these different, human performance technologies from 24-hour wearables to our general wellness surveys to our subjective training load surveys, just the ability of student athletes to kind of like map out what their days look like and what they're experiencing. From an athletic performance technology standpoint, we have weight room specific technologies, and there's things housed within our Badger Athletic Performance Lab, which is kind of a subsidiary of our sports medicine department. In the weight room, we use VBT, which is velocity-based tracking, and it's just a way to quantify weight room performances, bar velocities, force, power, things along those lines. We'll use speed tracking devices to measure obviously speeds and times, accelerations. Within our Badger Athletic Performance Lab, we'll use 2D and 3D motion capture systems, and also we have the ability to use DEXA scans to look at bone mineral density, look at basically lean muscle mass, and then also the difference between left and right sidedness. And then there's also a whole host of shared technologies from force plates to dynameters to isometric functional devices. And here's kind of a picture of some of the stuff we do. On the top left is some of our VBT stuff. On the right is some of our speed tracking technologies. Bottom left is some of those isometric force technologies. The middle is our DEXA. And so it gives you an idea as far as some of the things that we're working with within our spaces. Sport performance technologies, primarily we're looking at training load and then this idea of training stress balance. Training loads help to monitor and quantify the physiological effects of human movement. And this is kind of in absence of technical and tactical development, things that the coaches would do, shot trackers and how many swings they may be taking. And really what we're looking to develop is training stress balances, right? So it allows us to create a shared understanding of the demands of activity to better understand and program for practices, how many reps athletes are taking, the drills that they may be doing for position groups and teams, in addition to the rehabilitation strategies for individuals coming back from injury. A lot of these sport performance technologies, they kind of look at internal and external training loads, internal primarily being the physiological response to activity, heart rate being a big one, blood pressure, blood lactate, other ones, or session RPE from our training load surveys that kind of fall under the human performance tech side. Those have been validated as internal metrics as well. Externally, we're looking at, distance covered, number of sprints, accelerations, deaccelerations, jumps, cuts, etc. Primarily through like GPS, LPS, which is an indoor system of GPS, and then the IMAs as well. All this kind of gets filtered into the athlete management system, right? And so this is kind of where the rubber meets the road, right? And so athlete management systems are online cloud-based platforms that house information for review, analysis, and visualization, right? So more or less what it is, it's a shared system that allows multiple key stakeholders, example like the team behind the team, to simultaneously access real-time data on the team and individual athletes. What this does is it kind of creates a common ground for data utilization, for communication and collaboration amongst all the team behind the team, staff members, and coaches. How this information gets into the athlete management system kind of varies, right? So our surveys that get sent to our student athletes, they get sent via email or text or through an app. Those kind of just get dumped into the system. These are produced by the system. One of the big ways that information gets into our athlete management system is through the use of APIs, or application programming interface. And so it's the way that two technologies speak to each other. So our force plates talk to our athlete management system. Our GPS system talks to our athlete management system. And that information gets dumped into our athlete management system without any staff interface on it. There's also the ability to upload via CSV file or also manual entry within the system itself. Ultimately, the functionality of an athlete management system is set on the idea of inputs, throughputs, and outputs, right? So inputs are going to be the information coming in from the sports science technology, sport performance, athletic performance, human performance. The athlete management system houses those. You can create visualizations, you can run reports, analyses, and the outputs kind of get kicked out to all these different staff members, the team behind the team for them to review. Here's an example of our athlete management system that volleyball uses. The front of the cards has a picture of our student athletes, has their name. The score in the middle is what we call our RTT score, which is readiness to train, which is basically an aggregate of all the subjective wellness survey question answers. And it kind of gives us an idea from 0 to 100 where they are within any given point in time. On the back side of the card is more acute information that each program may use, whether it's RSI from our force plates, looking at training loads from surveys or from technologies. Here's a visualization that we can create within the system, kind of outlining different qualities that may be interesting to different groups. Ultimately, what we're going to try to do is bring everything back together. The team behind the team is armed with this data, right? Each staff member and sport coach can make inferences. They can share ideas. They can create dialogue about how the best way to navigate and operate within these relative small margins. So most of our student athletes, they're just looking for 1 to 3% improvements over a long period of time. That long period of time results in large increases over that time. And again, these are things that happen within sport, within school, and within life. More specifically, from a sporting context, what we want to be able to do is train our athletes harder, smarter, and for longer as comparison to our competition. This is ultimately where Rocky meets the Russian. Rocky is kind of like the Wisconsin way. It's blue collared, it's hard nosed, it's gritty, it's gutsy. It's just doing things the right way, right? But then on the other side, there's the Russian, there's the technology, there's the science, the innovation. And what we're trying to do is blend those two models together. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is seek the balance between the Wisconsin way and the future of intercollegiate athletics. And that's technology, that's science, that's collaboration. By having these tools available to our practitioners, it creates the conversations, it opens up the dialogue, right? Technology can provide us with a shared language. It can provide the intimate insights into what's happening within our student athletes, both in sport, in school, and in life, right? It creates a common ground to create dialogue centered around enhancing the student athlete experience for the benefit of them in all those qualities. Ultimately, that's all I got today. Forever forward on Wisconsin. We'll see you on the Facebook group chat. Happy to answer any questions after this. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this Badger Talks live event produced by the University of Wisconsin-Madison through UW Connect's outreach and the Office of State Relations. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube to see the library of past recorded talks. Please visit badgertalks.wisc.edu to see the schedule of upcoming talks, sign up for the Badger Talks email list, and search the roster of over 400 UW experts who are available to give talks on important issues in your Wisconsin community.